everybody, welcome back to the kitchen. It's been a while, I know. Busy summer is all I got to say. I was out with hubby last night and we come across a few blueberries. So we picked them, as you can see. They're really nice and ripe. And he wanted some pancakes, blueberry pancakes for breakfast. So I said, while I'm at it, it's just as well to come on and show you guys how to do it. It is the season and they're quite delicious, so I hope you enjoy. So in order to make these pancakes, we need, in a bowl, 1 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour. Put that right in there. We're going to need 2½ teaspoons of baking powder. Again, magic kind, because it works like magic. That's the only baking powder I ever buy, because I did make the mistake of buying other brands years ago and yeah, they got a weird taste. Not nice at all. We're going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I'll share the recipe later if you just wanted to watch without writing things down. And 1/3 cup of sugar, just regular white sugar. I'm going to put that in my bowl, and yeah, I'm just going to give it a little whisk around. And in the meantime, I'm going to heat up my griddle here. I'm going to put it on about 350 degrees, and you want to have it preheated so that it's nice and hot when you put your batter on. It's not going to stick, and you know, it just tends to make a better, I don't know if it's a crust on it, but you know, the outside of the pancake tends to brown up a little better. Now, in another separate bowl, I am going to take, let me just try and get this out of your way a little bit. I'm going to take a cup full of milk. I'm using fresh 2% milk today. You can absolutely use 1/2 and 1/2. You can use buttermilk. You can use, you know, just a carnation milk with water. Yeah, just a lighter, like maybe make it like a 2% or something like that, especially if you're health conscious. So I'm going to take that, and we're going to take 1 egg. And as you know, I like to break it in a bowl first, just in case there's any shell or anything we don't want in here. So I'm going to put the egg in there, and I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of melted butter. You can also use oil if you want, but I melted my butter earlier and let it cool off a little bit because you don't want to cook the egg. And I'm going to use 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and I'm again just using Clubhouse. I like Clubhouse, and I like Watkins vanilla too. Yeah, so just about 1/2 teaspoon should be plenty. You don't want to overpower the blueberry taste. Now what we're going to do there now is just give this a quick little whisk. We just want to combine the ingredients and break up the egg a little bit. And yeah, then I can see my pan is starting to heat up. I'm just going to turn that down a little tiny bit. I might put some oil on here actually, just so I don't get any smoking on the camera. Yeah. So now you can see I just kind of whisked this all together. My egg is broken off, the butter and the milk is combining. I guess you kind of make a little bit of a buttermilk when you add melted butter into, you know, fresh milk. Now, I'm going to take this. You can see some of my butter is solidifying from the cold milk. I'm going to add the wet into the dry. So, I'm just going to put it right in the center of the bowl. And I'm going to take my little spatula, and we're going to stir just to combine. You don't want to over stir it because you might deactivate the baking powder. You just want just enough to make sure that they're all combined and it's not really super lumpy or anything like that. Now, if you're going to have a few lumps, that's fine. I'll show you here now. See? just to combine. I'm not sure if you can see real well with the glare of the light there. But yeah, it's not a super runny batter, but it's not a super thick batter either. It's fairly thin, but not as thin as a crepe batter. Yeah, got that mixed. Now we're going to take another cup, well, another measuring cup, and I'm going to take a cup full of these blueberries now, and I'm just going to, maybe a little more. I always tend to overdo it with the blueberries. And as you can see, these are washed and everything. There's no need to flour them or anything because we're just making pancakes. I'm going to empty that directly in there. And I'm just going to fold. So I'm not going to really stir and stuff and break up my berries. Oh, little stem. Get that out of there. And yeah, you just want to, that's it. Just fold them in just like so. It's pretty much done there now. And yeah, I'm going to turn this griddle back up. I'm using just some sunflower oil today. You can use some butter, whatever oil you have on hand. I just find like just a regular vegetable oil works well. And then I also like to add a little bit of real butter because the real butter gives it a really nice flavor. And not only that, it tends to help them brown up really well. So I'm just going to take like a tablespoon. That might have been a bit too much, but we'll see. Yeah, you can hear that my griddle is getting nice and hot. This is a wonderful pan. I bought it at Canadian Tire. It's Black & Decker. And yeah, I've had this pan for I think 11 years now, and there's not a scratch on it. So be careful that you use like not metal utensils, you know, like plastic or something like that. We're just going to take a ladle today. I have like a squeezy thing for doing pancakes that make them really perfect, but I'm afraid that the nozzle is a bit smaller, so the blueberries may get stuck in there. So I'm just going to take my ladle like so, and you can see that the baking powder is starting to activate a little bit. We're just going to, I would say it's not the full ladle because you don't want them too big. Maybe half. And you'll see these spread out now in a second. And if they don't spread out real well, you can give them a hand. And I like to do about 6 at a time. And again, that's another reason why you don't want to make them too big, because you want to make sure you got enough room on your griddle to cook them all without them, you know, melting together. I'm going to take my handy dandy flipper. I got this on Amazon. It's like a double-sided. I had one many years ago. It was from the Dollarama, I believe. And I really wore it out. Like it was such a good specialist. So my son found these, and they came in a 2-pack on Amazon. So yeah, I'll see if I can find a link for you. And you can hear them sizzling away. Nice hot pan. Yeah. And what you want to do is wait until you see some bubbles come up through the center. Some of these are a little. I'm just going to take, if you have a little fat pancakes like mine, I'm just going to take the edge of my ladle, and kind of just spread it out a little tiny bit, because you don't want to have like a raw center. My mother used to give us a little bit of a raw center sometimes in the morning when she was cooking pancakes, whether she was in a rush or what. I can't even imagine trying to get 5 girls up and ready for school and cook breakfast, and you know how it was. Yeah. Anyway, it's a wonder we got pancakes at all, I would imagine. Yeah, we were pretty fortunate. And if you want to, if you can see me then, I just lifted up the corner a little bit just to have a peek. And they are browning up quite nicely. I'm actually still going to flip this one over. I can see a couple of little tiny holes starting to break, which means that it's just about ready to turn. if your pan is a little bit too hot and you're not seeing the bubbles break but the bottoms are browning, you can absolutely flip them over, add a little bit more butter or oil. When you add oil with butter, it prevents the butter from burning too quickly. Yeah, and then just flip them over again and again. This one looks ready to me, so I'm just going to go ahead and give it a flip. And I don't know if you can see that it's nice and brown. Push it a little bit out of my way because I don't want it onto the other one. In a minute, I'm going to actually add a little bit more butter again. Butter makes it better. And this one's almost ready too. Let's see. I broke that one a little bit. That's the homemadeness of it all. And if you find your griddle getting hot, just turn it down a little tiny bit. You'll be fine. These really puffed up nicely. 2½ teaspoons of baking powder. Yeah, I'm not sure where I got this recipe from. I've had it for many, 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 many years. Yeah, I think the original recipe might have called for 3 teaspoons of baking powder, but my hubby, he can't handle the baking powder, at least his belly can't. Yeah, he swells up like a big old drum. I was like, please don't tell me that was my spatula. Yeah. These are cooking up really nicely. I did lower the pan temperature just a tiny bit, so it's probably like, I don't know, 335 maybe now. I'll only cook the one pan for you guys and let you have a see, and then off camera I'll continue to cook the rest. Yeah. Have another peek, I guess. They're coming along. They're not quite done in the center yet, I can tell. But they puff up really, really nicely. And then today I'm just going to, put them on a little plate and have them with a little coffee, some syrup, and yeah, they'll be good. I'm just going to reach aside now and grab my little plate. Hold on. My big plate. Because I think they might be all done at one time. We'll see. So you can see this one has the side that's it's not quite cooked, and it's kind of tore apart when I flipped it over. So if that happens, just flip it back over for a minute, and you'll see that the underside of this one is not quite brown. So then you can flip it back over again and continue to cook it until it's cooked all the way through. And you can kind of feel when they're ready because they kind of like bounce back a little bit when you kind of tap on them. Tap, tap. Yeah, they're doing well. So yeah, just make sure that the bottom is brown before you go to try to turn it, or like this one, it'll start falling apart and different things. So yeah, try and keep them all in one piece. That's pretty good there now. I'm actually going to plate one up just so you can kind of see. You can see me having a hot flash right at this moment. Oh, the joys of menopause. Now, I'm just going to take a little bit of this as a butter flavored PC. I don't have any real maple syrup on hand. If I did, I would absolutely use that. You can put molasses, you can put jam, you can put whatever. Might have been a bit too much. Just like a little over the top, like so. And I forgot a fork, so I'm going to be a savage now. And let it cool out a little bit. And you can see like the inside is nice and done and cooked. And keep an eye while you're taste testing that your other ones don't burn. I'm I'm just going to flip them again while I'm waiting for this to cool because I don't want to burn my mouth on camera. I think I might have done that a time or two. Yeah, those ones look ready too. So let's have a little taste test. They're actually super, super good. And with the fresh wild blueberries, I don't know about you, but they seem to have a little bit more tartness, a little bit more flavor. Yeah, they're just better. Anyway, I'm going to let you go. I hope you enjoyed the video. Get some blueberries, get some pancakes, and have yourself a beautiful day once again. And yeah, we'll talk to you really soon. Bye.